Hello, my name is AIDS, and something that may surprise a lot of you is that I did not grow up with Melee, like most of the Smash Bros. Community. My first Smash game was actually Brawl. Boo, you stink! Well, in the context of how I smell, that may be true, but I would argue that I don't particularly stink because I hold a fairly large amount of nostalgia towards this game. Because just like most Smash fans, I get the criticisms that were hurled at it, like the slow and hilariously awful gameplay from the perspective of a competitive player like myself who plays no items, box-only Final Destination. Now for a casual player, this is one of the best games in the entire series with so much fantastic single-player modes, like the perfection of previous modes such as Classic, All-Star, and the smaller ones like Multi-Man Melee, Brawl, Home Run Contest, and Not You. But Brawl didn't just make previous modes better, there were actually some new ones too, like Stage Builder, which got progressively worse as the series went on, Rotation, and my absolute favorite, the Subspace Emissary. Now, why am I adamantly defending a game which justifiably gets shat on every single time you even ponder the idea of bringing it up? Well, you could say it's entirely for that reason, but the reason why I'd mention why Brawl single player is so good is that it's entirely because of that reason that it was somewhat expected for a mode this giant to be such an expansive game. Now let's look at Ultimate, which while having far more time constraints than Smash Brawl, is still far more similar to that game than Melee or even Smash 4 because of how expansive it was. Which is why I was so hyped to see this new blurred out mode of the menu, which would eventually be revealed to us by showing off the first cutscene of the game, which is absolutely one of the most perfect pieces of animated material ever made. It looks Pixar levels of gorgeous, has all of my favorite characters together, and I get to see all of them die. I went, holy shit, this is like the trophy plot point in Subspace. Holy shit, is this new Spirits mode gonna be like a sequel to Subspace Emissary? Well, maybe my fanboy mind should have expected the worst instead of the best, because that's exactly what we got with the World of Light, which disappointed me to the point of disliking it a great amount. But to explain my opinions on the World of Light in further detail, I must first explain my opinions on the Subspace Emissary a bit more. So, how about you join me in my probably never-ending quest to break down why the World of Light sucks. Now, what I'm expecting to see in the comments section are people saying that I'm a mostly negative person for this video even existing, but I quickly want to say that I'm actually a fairly positive person and don't really like talking about stuff I dislike very often, unless I can make a cheap dad joke out of it, or if literally no one but me agrees on that negative opinion. I'm making this video because I feel like it would be beneficial for me to get my thoughts out about this topic. I'm also heavily prepared for people to use the he's just biased argument, and what I have to say to that is, so why is it bad I'm biased? Everyone's views should be looked at no matter how opinionated they may be. Some very good arguments that are biased can cement fascinating new ways to look at a piece of media. Because guess what? The Subspace Emissary isn't for everyone. The World of Light isn't for everyone. And the point of the video, in spite of the title, is to show off why I think the World of Light sucks, and not why the World of Light is an objectively bad mode. Because everyone has different tastes and biases. With that out of the way, the Subspace Emissary was fucking magnificent. Now, is the mode perfect? Absolutely not. For example, Smash Bros. Clearly wasn't intended to be a platformer, so the gameplay does come across as weird at points. Another point of criticism can be seen in how Brawl was a rush game by the end, meaning that Sonic doesn't appear until the very end, and Jigglypuff, Toon Link, and Wolf are just kind of scotch-taped onto the mode without affecting the plot in any way, which sucks because seeing Link and Toon Link together would be hilarious. But I feel the final point of negativity I can hurl at this mode would be the Great Maze. This piece of shit was so difficult for a younger me that I just had to resort to looking up the ending on that playthrough. But honestly, that's legitimately all that bothers me because this mode has so much going for it. First off, the story. Now is it fanfiction-y? Yes, but if you see it that way, then you're clearly missing the point of what this mode was trying to accomplish. Of course, seeing Mario and Snake together will be weird, but it works because it embraces the fanfiction-like feel in the way and how it's written. If you're going to criticize the story, then there are other ways to critique it. Personally, I'm so emotionally attached to these characters that I can't see a single flaw in the plot, but on this front the comment section will probably be far more credible than me, because I'm sure it's not actually perfect. Hell, I don't even feel like it's the plot that's the real strong suit. The strong suit is shown in how perfectly each character was portrayed. My favorite of which definitely being Mr. Game & Watch, but I also think Mario, Yoshi, Kirby, Fox, Pikachu, Luigi, Ness, Captain Falcon, Peach, Falco, Ganondorf, Pit, Wario, Snake, Pokemon Trainer, Diddy Kong, Lucas, King Dedede, and Rob were handled very well as well. Sure, some characters like Bowser, Ice Climbers, Marth, Meta Knight, Ike, and Lucario could have been handled better, but the fact that it's only a fraction of the roster that I found kind of boring really shows just how much I love all of these how all of these characters are portrayed, because when Sakurai releases a product, you know that making the characters as good as possible is his top priority. Unless it isn't, but these are just the exceptions. I'm so sorry, Ganondorf. Personally, the fact that we had a story mode in a Smash Bros. Game to begin with just felt so amazing to me. The fact that this existed, and there were fully animated cutscenes in between each level, really made this mode that would otherwise be mediocre and forgettable into one of the best modes in any video game. Which is why the World of Light failed in so many people's eyes. Okay, so you may be asking yourself, really? All that needs to be added to the World of Light is more cutscenes, that'll magically make it more popular, and my answer to that is that it would certainly make the mode more tolerable. Just imagine having a new cutscene play every time you're about to unlock a new character, and another when you end up unlocking that character. It would hardly enhance the story at all, but it would certainly make unlocking the characters feel far more rewarding, as you get a bit of a grasp as why they want to come back to help you to defeat Galeem. Hell, you could add cutscenes to actual story beats. Like, when you go to a new area, the cutscene will give you a chance to see the new area, giving you a close-up on the strongest spirit as well as the character being trapped there. Like, you know how awesome that would be? It sucks too because the 4 cutscenes after the first 2 hardly feature the Smash Bros. Characters at all. It's only Galeem and Darkon. Like, I don't give a shit about these two, they have no personality. It's like watching a fucking Godzilla movie instead of a Smash Bros. Cutscene. But you may be amazed to find out that the lack of cutscenes has hardly even scratched the surface of my immense disappointment with this mode. Next, I'd like to talk about the map. Never in my life have I seen a map that could be good end up being squandered so heavily. You're trying to tell me that Mario could realistically navigate this area in a Mario game without it looking jarring as hell? Hell, Mario Odyssey has some of the weirdest locations of any Mario game, yet I feel 10 times more immersed in the Ruined Kingdom than any area in the World of Light. Now, I suck at designing backgrounds, which is why they look so shit in my character stills, but even with my extraordinarily limited knowledge on the subject, I can give one piece of advice that I'm surprised no employees at Nintendo had the balls to suggest. That is to make the map a 3D model. Like, come on, it's such a simple change. And while it may be time-consuming to implement, I feel a great deal of the frustration that people had of this mode would be subtracted quite a bit. If someone can imagine the characters being in a certain area, they'll find enjoying that thing so much harder. And that's exactly what I felt during this mode. I can never imagine any Nintendo character traversing these areas. The map looks like a board to me, and while the Subspace map was rather surface level as well, I feel the real charm of those locations came in the levels themselves, but since the World of Light centers around a random series of battles, the charm of each location must be shown through the map, and they simply haven't been able to make locations that are as interesting as the ones present in Subspace. It truly does make me admire the Ruined Kingdom and Odyssey so much more now. The fact that they were able to successfully pull off making this area not feel like Mario, while at the same time having it make sense for Mario to be in that area visually. But now I want to talk about my final major problem with this mode, which is that this mode never, ever ends. Now, I want to mention that I played a majority of this mode on very easy so I could get it over with as fast as possible, but even on that difficulty, it took me 18 hours to 100% this mode. And even after all of that, I don't even have all of the spirits yet. Now, I already thought that the main map was long enough, but by the time that I beat Galeem for the first time, I found out that I had to complete 4 more different sub-areas before I could beat the game. By that point, I was done. By that point, I was already well above 10 hours of playtime, and had just realized that I had 5 more left until I could do a final sweep to get 100%. You know, Sakurai, you know that not many people have that much time in their hands. If I wasn't glued to my house because of a stupid virus, I wouldn't have even made it to Galeem at all. This isn't Animal Crossing where the goal is to drag the game on as long as possible. This is Smash Bros. I feel like a complete dumbass for spending so much time on something I knew I didn't like. But AIDS. How are the spirit battles? Well, I think they're fine actually. While the overworld and all the puzzles in it are about as fun as going back to the days when I was 12 years old, and I actually don't even mind the spirit battles. I did at first, but they eventually grew on me. One issue I do have with them, though, is that there are random difficulty spikes that appear shockingly often and completely hurt the pacing. Now, this is only a problem I had at the beginning of this mode when I played it at normal difficulty instead of very easy, but during that point I felt very frustrated that many of the battles here had drastically different difficulties than the last. Like, this shit has the consistency of DreamWorks. Like, one time I'll be fighting an 11 out of 10 masterpiece, then the next time Shark Tale will show up. Okay, I think I'm done now. Okay, I have a confession to make. Spirit battles may just be decent to me, but actually making spirit teams is so much fun, because they're balanced about as well as Brawl's meta. You don't know how much fun it is to show friends how horrifically powerful some of these are. It's hilarious, and makes the disappointment of a World of Light even greater to me, because we could have had a mode that took more advantage of these strategies. But instead, we got a grindfest that never ends. Wait, that's all I have to say? How am I going to justify this having its own paragraph? Wait, I got an idea. Montage! Man, I've never complained that hard in my entire life. Oh wait, in all seriousness, this was kind of more of an experiment to see how well I can make a discussion around video games, and if this video gets enough positive attention, then I may consider talking about more video games, instead of exclusively talking about animation. But while this topic has been done to death already, I feel like most of the views on this topic have been destructive instead of constructive, and while I started writing this video just to take a massive shit on this mode, I realized that it actually has some decent qualities, and if certain parts of the mode were to be improved, I could easily see more people enjoying it. And I hope that was enough to make this discussion more interesting to you. Anyway, I'm actually really curious to see people's opinions on this mode, and if there's someone out there who enjoys the World of Light, then good for you. But what's more important than people's opinions on the subject matter is people's opinions on the video itself. Since my videos don't get many views, all I can really do to improve is self-reflect, but it would mean the world to me if you were to share some of your issues with this video without telling me to kill myself. It's guaranteed to be flawed, so I hope people are able to recognize that. Anyway, hope you all have a magnificent day, and I will see all of you later. Okay, this is the real final paragraph. So I know my upload schedule is always dog-do, but I really needed to take time of quarantine to self-reflect and realize how important laziness can be, since I've tended to have this self-destructive mindset of believing I should always get work done, and that if I don't get anything done, then I'm a lazy piece of shit. But I'm trying to not have that mindset anymore, and a big part of doing that is realizing how healthy laziness can be sometimes. As for future projects, I got an extremely long script for a review about the anime K-On! Almost finished, so expect a review of that show to pop up sometime, along with a couple of other projects I've started. Also, I've decided to bring back that outro I used in the meme analysis video, so I hope you enjoy that outro more, especially since I've updated it quite a bit. Anyway, hope that explanation answers all your questions, and I can't wait to see you next time, peasants.